What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we are talking about a lemon pound cake tea and the Edison Nouveau Premiere with a gold nib. Guys, I'm super excited to talk to you about this tea. Oh, I'm so excited about this tea. Okay, calm myself a little bit. I have really just started been getting into oolong tea. It was one that I was kind of avoiding. And I really don't know why. So I just ordered a bunch of different types of oolong tea, and this was the first one that I tried. This one is the lemon pound cake. It was featured in their Mother's Day range, if you want to call it that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to stay a part of their regular range. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's $9.50 for 50 grams worth of tea, and it is worth it if you like lemon pound cake, because I'm gonna be real with you, it tastes identical to the namesake, which I was really surprised with, because most of the time when you get a tea that's named after a dessert or after anything really, it'll have like familiarities, but it wouldn't be like bang on, and this I honest to goodness think is bang on. It says, with buttery oolong, tangy citrus, and just a hint of creaminess, this delicate tea tastes like a slice of lemon pound cake. Dessert for breakfast has never been this guilt-free. And the ingredients are essentially oolong, lemongrass, lemon peel, sunflower blossom, white hibiscus, and natural and some artificial pound cake and lemon flavor. I really dig this tea. You put about a teaspoon and a bit into your strainer, your filter, whatever it is you use to make loose leaf tea. And then you have to make sure that the water isn't fully boiled because it can tend to burn the leaves a little bit. It recommends 185 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 85 degrees Celsius. I've pushed it to boiling and it's been okay, but typically with oolong you're going to want to be a little bit more aware of the water temperature that you boil it at. And then you let it steep for about 4 to 7 minutes. I found about 5.5 minutes was perfect for me, with just a titch of added sugar for that extra, like, cakey sweetness. And it is amazing. I really like it. Like I said, I was surprised that it tastes like its namesake. If I can get a little bit out for you guys. These little kind of black balls there, that's the tea. And as it brews, they unfurl. Oh my god, you guys. It smells amazing. I only bought 50 grams of it just so that I could give it a real good shake. And I've had about 3 cups worth of it now, or mugs worth of it now. And I'm going to buy more. I am, because I don't know if it is officially going to be part of their line or not, so I'm going to buy at least 100 more grams because it is so good. And with that amazing tea, I thought let's pair a pretty cool pen, which is the Edison Nouveau Premiere. This finish in particular is a limited edition. This is the Goulet Pens winter of 2016 edition. So this finish, I don't believe you can get anymore. I think it's called Mystical Myrrh. I could be wrong. But like they have plenty of other different finishes that you can get that are the exact same pen. They just look a little bit different. This pen is a little bit polarizing because it has these points, and they're not like sharp. They're not going to cut you, but they're definitely pointed. Like, it's not like you're not going to notice them. So some people love it, some people hate it. I happen to be in the, former category. I actually like it. I like that it's not a typical design. It's not just typical rounded edge or squared edge like the majority of other pens are. So I kind of dig it. This one in particular has gold trim, but other pens that you will get of this model have silver trim. I love the finish, and most of the finishes, even with their pictures online on their website, they all have this beautiful chatoyance that I really dig. It gives amazing depth to the material. This material in particular has a really nice, like, warm feeling, and I really love it. There's actually nothing about the material or the finish that I dislike. I don't even mind the engraving that's on the body, which normally bugs me a little bit when things are engraved in there. But you basically have to look for it in order to see it. It's really, really hidden. It's out of the way, so I really like that. If I had to be nitpicky, if I really had to get in there, the only thing that I don't like is that you can see the divisible line in the material where the cap or the clip gets screwed onto. But really that's like nitpicking level. I have reviewed a Edison pen before, the Edison Collier is how Americans pronounce it. And for the most part, this pen is pretty darn similar. The reason why I wanted to do this one is because I took the very expensive plunge and went with the Edison gold nib to see what the difference was between their gold and steel, and see if there's even a purpose or a point to upgrading, because it's an extra $125 for that nib. It is not cheap whatsoever. Just like the Edison Collier, it is a standard international converter cartridge pen, which I really like because then you can use bottled ink, you can do whatever you want, and you can eyedropper their pens as well. And it looks amazing when it's eyedroppered because it is slightly translucent, and every pen will be a little bit different as far as how much you can see. So, you know, that way you can see the ink sloshing around on the inside. And the grip section is the hourglass. It's a little bit small. It's okay for me for the most part. My thumb does tend to hang back on these threads here, but they're not sharp. You know, you notice that they're there, but they don't really bug me. So, you know, I would like maybe the grip section to be a little bit bigger, but other than that, it's okay. The pen itself is a little bit thinner than the Collier. As far as the length of the pen goes, it's virtually the same. So that's really cool. And you can, the beauty of these nibs, the beauty of Edison in general, you can unscrew the pen from, or the nib from the housing. So that's really cool. I don't have this one inked up, so I'll show you with the Collier, but it's the exact same thing with the Premiere. So basically you're just going to hold onto the grip section, hold onto the base of the nib, and then just give her a nice twist, and you can unscrew the housing from the nib unit, which means that any Edison pen you get, you can interchange the nib sizes. So you can get any, like a bunch of extra nibs. So I have a fine by them, I have a medium, yeah, I have a fine and a medium in steel, and I have the medium in the gold as well. So that's really cool, so that no matter what pen I decide to use, if I want to use that gold nib, I can. So that is definitely convenient for sure. You, like I said, you can disassemble it, so that's awesome. I really dig the finish. I really, really do. They're always super smooth too, which I really like. But like I said, the only downside to this is that it is expensive. So regular price with a steel nib is $149 American, which turns into roughly about $187 with the Canadian dollar exchange right now. So it would be a little bit high on the steel nib price range, but I would say that it's worth it because the pens themselves are crafted so beautifully. The materials are amazing. And you can eyedropper them, you can do whatever you want to them. And they write really well, steel or gold. So I would say that it's worth it for steel. For the gold, it's adding an extra $125 on top of that. So that for Americans makes it $274 for the gold nib upgrade. And for Canadians, it's a whopping $330. Yikes. Spoiler, the nib writes phenomenally, but so does the steel. So I really wouldn't worry about getting a gold nib upgrade, especially for us Canadians right now, because you will pay through the nose for it. You know, do I regret that I bought it? Absolutely not. It's amazing. It is more bouncy than the steel nib. You do get a little bit more sort of like that shock absorber effect when you write. So you do notice that you do get a little bit more like line variation than you do in its steel counterpart. But most of Edison pens are fairly wet writers, steel or gold. So it's really up to you. To me, having both, going forward in the future, I would not buy a gold nib again. I would stick with their steel nibs because their steel nibs are pretty darn good, and they do test all their nibs before they ship them out anyways. So that's kind of nice to know. Because $330 for a gold nib pen is starting to get into the range where I would want more features than just a beautiful resin material. So that's where I stand with it. Totally up to you whether, you know, it's worth it or not. But let's jump into the writing sample and see what the gold can do. This nib, guys, is phenomenal. And you know what? For the price, I would hope it would be. But I really do like it. It's very springy. It's super wet. You know, definitely no issue with flow there. The ink, by the way, is Diamine Chocolate Brown, which I'm really digging, but that's a whole other story. I don't know if I'll be able to show you in the light. Not really. This is Clairefontaine paper, by the way. The ink is still in the process of drying, so it's definitely a wet pen. You can get about a full difference with line variation if you apply a little bit of pressure. You can push it farther than that. It will go farther. I don't want to because I don't want to spring the tines, and I wouldn't recommend that you do either. Reverse writing, you can get a little bit, but it starts to dry out. You won't be able to go for very long. So if it's like a quick word, you're good to go. And it's very smooth as well, but you're not going to be able to write, you know, more than a word at a time. You know, definitely smooth regardless of the direction in which you write. It's a hair drier on the upstroke than on the downstroke. And it's pretty similar on the side strokes. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily tell somebody it is 100% worth it to get the gold nib over the steel nib, because the steel nib writes very similarly. The only difference is that you're going to notice a little bit more bounce when you write. You're going to be able to feel that kind of shock absorber you know, nib that kind of like is responsive with the amount of pressure that you put down. The steel nib, you're going to have that stiff steel nib. But as far as like performance goes, as far as the smoothness goes, it's really similar with the steel nib companion. So at the end of the day, no, I would not say getting the gold nib is going to make a huge difference over steel. It's still an amazing nib. You know, if you want to go for it, absolutely. If you have the funds to do it, make the plunge. But you don't have to. Absolutely not. That said, I love this pen as far as the finish goes. I would absolutely recommend that. But like I said, that's totally a personal choice. You know, gold nib versus steel nib. Guys, that's about it for me today. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. And as always, do not be afraid to leave any comments, questions, or concerns down in the comment section below. In particular, I'd like to know what you guys think about this steel nib versus gold nib debate. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Bye.